Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Universal Order Show, episode 11, and we have yet another couple to bring to the table, and we are so very grateful. Not only do we have members from another guild today, but in honor of our previous couple that was on the show, we have people that are not from the United States, so that is a double treat. We are so grateful for their time and willingness to do this, and I hope you all enjoy the stories that they share, as I know I will. So, without further delay, please welcome to the show. And again, I understand if you need to take a bath afterwards because it is two druids. The leaders of the Boisterous few. We have Iyotanka and Leda. Thank you so much. And how you doing?
Hi. I think
So,
Io might be having a little bit of technical difficulties.
yeah, he's he's freeze framed in a good pose. He's wondering what the raid is doing right
Oh,
now.
that's good.
Uh,
You're
y-
freeze framed. Yeah,
is your voice coming through at least, Josh?
he is speaking, but he said he's gonna come back in and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, so we'll give him a minute. Okay, well, as long as the voice works, we'll start with that while you're loading. So, as always, we start at the beginning. There's a lot of things I look forward to learning about the two of you. I have been privileged to know the two of you for many years. I, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like, well, I remember when I was speaking to Unmei in her interview that I remember knowing the two of you before you formed your own guild. Do you remember the same, or am I wrong about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we met back in Burning Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't actually form our guild until just before Ice Crown Citadel.
Okay. Yeah, because I know you guys are a year after us, so you're 12. And
Yep.
was it October that you celebrate?
Yep.
Okay.
October.
Wow. I can't believe I remember.
Yeah, October 21st or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the day I definitely had no chance of remembering, but the month was up there somewhere rattling around. All right. So, really hope you can get that fixed, dude. We
I
love to see
don't know
you.
what to do. I can see myself fine. It says it's connected. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll just roll with it. So, ladies first. Lita, where does your name come from?
My name comes from Greek mythology, and please don't look it up because it's not great. Leda was a swan who got into some intimate relations with a god and had, I can't even remember which children. But yeah, I basically just opened up a book and flipped a few pages, and that's what I found.
So, Lita is this one that got with a god, or had relations with a god.
Yep. Yep.
So, Iotanka, does that give you an ego boost?
Uh, I guess so. I don't know. It doesn't take very long for Chantal to find a name. She'll just find one that sounds good. It's me that takes hours upon hours to pick a name that goes along with the backstory. So I don't know. I don't know if there's an ego boost for that, but
No, no, I think you're missing what I was trying to
because
imply.
of the god, yes, I get it.
Yes,
Because got with the
you're the
god, I
god in
get it.
this
But I'm not
story.
sure. Not sure if there's any meaning behind it. Is what I'm saying.
All right, so how about you, dude? Where does Iotanka come from?
It's part of it's a Lakota name, and it's part of Tatanka Ayatanka, and it means sitting bull.
Okay,
So the Ayatanka is, I think it's just the bull part, but obviously it's hyphenated, so I couldn't put Tatanka dash to Ayatanka in there.
yeah.
So I mean, sitting doesn't make any sense, but the bull makes sense.
Well, I'm not saying that you should do it, but if for some reason the two of you were ever bored enough to play Final Fantasy, they do allow a first and last name, so you could probably do your Tatanka Iotanka there.
Yeah, maybe. Um, I'm happy with Iyotanka. I like the way it sounds, and Io hyphenate or shortens pretty well.
Yeah. So, before we get into your play history, I get to ask the two of you a question I have not been able to ask anyone else. So, Lita, where does the guild name come from?
Oh, right. Well, we were the guild that we were in previously was a 10-man raiding guild. So there was only a few of us, and whenever we would bring in people to pug, they were always kind of like weirded out because our Trillo at the time was so quiet. And so it was kind of an ironic name because the boisterous few. And so, as we weren't being very boisterous, it was kind of an ironic choice.
Okay. Yes, these, for our viewers, these are the leaders of the Boisterous Few, another icon staple of the Ravenholdt server. 12 years, approaching 13 in October. What a milestone.
It has been a while, yeah.
And I know that your guild was famous for its celebrations where you would come up with. I don't know if you reused any of your games, probably, but I know that you had like costume contests. You had. Uh, I don't know if you called it any differently, but it's like darts where one of you jumps off first and then everybody has to try to land, see who lands closer to you. I
The
don't know
suicide
if you.
contest.
So, okay, that's what you called it. Uh, yeah, fun times. And I know that, and I still regret it to this day, where I just had no time that day, which is, again, my fault, not yours. The two of you came up with this amazing role playing scenario where you had a bunch of people in different teams. You had members of your guild be role playing NPCs, and they had to perform various tasks like escorting or a treasure hunt. Like you had them giving clues, and they had to find stuff. It was the time and effort was amazing, and you still have those team channels in your Discord after like what 2 years?
Yeah, yeah, we do. I think the last anniversary event that we did was in Legion. Our guild has just been so small since then. And yeah, the role playing event is always one of our favorite ones to come up with, and we plot out the route that they're going to take and make sure they're all the same amount of time and give our role players kind of like a character and they just sort of run with it. And some years we use members, and some years we actually recruit other people from the server that like to role play and give them kind of a jumping off point, and then they just go. And sometimes it's hilarious the things that they come up with.
It's always fun to watch it happening. We usually fly nearby and watch them because we always tell the goal is always to get there the fastest, but the goal for the role players is to slow everything down as much as possible. So they're role playing and being really fucking slow. And one year we recruited some alliance players, and their goal was to kill the role players who are all like level ones. So the teams have to defend them while the role players are trying to slow everything down and the alliance are trying to kill the role players.
The
Okay,
res timers got like really out of control.
I can imagine. I it must have taken a lot of work to come up with this, and I know that similar to Unmei, you also use notepads for stuff. You have notes upon notes. I remember you used to write down like all your boss strategies and everything. I can imagine the library of stuff you have if you saved any of it.
You should see her notebook for Chains of Domination. She's got like art and everything in there. She's drawn like shit, and there's stickers and
Uh, well, I
Yeah,
look.
yeah, I'm a little bit extra.
Hey, if it works, it works, and yeah, I will definitely enjoy having some questions in that regard. But to take a step back into your individual or rather duo history. How long have the two of you been playing? Because I know, obviously, we've known each other since the Crusade, but did you play in the base game as well?
Yeah, we played in vanilla. We started out as gnomes, and we only ever got up to level 40. I think we got our first mounts, and then Chantel was kind of bored. She didn't really enjoy it as much, so we quit until Burning Crusade released.
Okay.
And one of her friends at the time convinced us to join his server and his guild, which was Ravenholdt, because they needed a tank. Yeah.
Yeah. And the two of you have played druids for as long as I've known you. I know you have alternative characters, but it is extremely rare to ever see them.
Yeah, we don't play our ults very often. Every now and then, Zeb can convince us to go level something, but not very often.
Right. Yeah, he definitely has. Uh, he changes every expansion that I mean, I still remember him as a hunter, as a death knight in Cataclysm, and then I think in Miss he was a priest. And, I mean, what is he now?
He kind of bounces around. I think he leveled his priest first.
Okay.
We've also taken his monk and his hunter into raids as well, so just depends what we need. I think even his Death Knight tank is geared. So it depends
Okay.
what we need, and he just fills whatever.
That's it's always nice to have a flex in your roster. It helps out. Everybody needs it every now and then. So the two of you have enjoyed success over the years with your community. Now, in the beginning, you had enough in your roster to do your own raids. Then in Dragon Soul was Cataclysm, right? Yeah. After Cataclysm, there was a falling out with some members who left. But despite that, and we don't have to get into that, but despite that, the two of you have managed to do an amazing job in building and maintaining an online community. And since, well, rather to describe it further, you have a learn to raid community. So for the most part, you do normal. Every now and then you touch heroic. And I assume that's when you see that, okay, look, we just cleared normal. These people are consistent. We trust them to go into heroic. How has maintaining that been for you, your community?
The community was kind of it came out of a need for more people to join our raids, but still being on this teeny weeny little minuscule server. And every time we tried to pug other people into our group to do, at the time it was Uldir and the beginning of Eternal Palace, we would find would be people who were way more geared than we were, who just wanted a really quick, no wipe, one and done run. And that wasn't something that we could provide because we were still just starting out. And so had a eureka moment, and it was just like, the people that we find that are brand new to the raid or brand new to raiding in general are always the best people to have in the group because they're excited, they want to listen, they want to learn, they want to be there and spend time with the raid. So that's what we just switched our focus to. So we will plug in other people from the tool, and we always make sure to be very specific that it's a learn to raid. The explanations will be provided so that everybody knows exactly what they're getting into when they sign up for that group in particular. And I think our community is up over 400 members now, so we've got a pretty strong group to pull from. And usually we run about 20-25 man raids.
Okay.
We one problem we always have is that people get that they're a part of the community. So they'll
Mm-hmm.
join with the intention of coming with us. And they might come with us once or twice, but then they'll forget about it. And so some of the, like, at least a couple hundred people in the community aren't really actively coming, but they're there, and sometimes they'll join us. But,
Whatever you did, everything is working just fine now, so I'm glad to see that. In regards to what Lita said, uh, that was uh, that was a question I was looking forward to ask rather. When we invited you to our raids throughout the years, I know that you were put off by the size of the raids. And so later on down, when I saw that you were also doing big raids, it was like, okay, I guess she got over it. What made you, what, I guess, raised your comfort level being surrounded by a full raid rather than just like 10, 12?
This is gonna come off like really badly, but I'm just gonna say it the only way I know how to say it. I'm a bit of a control freak. So going into somebody else's group, I have to restrain myself, and it can be a little bit nerve-wracking to be in somebody else's group because I want to be on my best behavior and fit in with the group. Then when I had my own, as long as I found that as long as I um, lay out my expectations for the run and how to interact with me as your raid leader, everything goes super smooth. So as long as I just do that right off the bat, then everybody knows, send me a whisper if you have a tip about how to do this boss better, or type it in raid chat, or, just giving them the different avenues where they can contact me. It took a lot of the pressure off.
Right,
Having those big raids wasn't quite as bad if they were contacting me in ways that I was more comfortable with.
right,
it was also kind of out of necessity, because we've always hated when we have to bench people. We've never chosen to bench people, but we've been in guilds where we did get benched or people did get benched, and we always hated it. And we vowed when we started the Boisterous feud that that wasn't going to happen as long as we had a choice in the matter. So when we got into the community, and we couldn't control who signed up, we couldn't control how many. So as long as we had enough spots, we were willing to bring people.
right. I mean, I know I've been benched many, many times, but that's okay. We don't have to go into that right now. But yeah, I've always felt, again, just to be honest, that the raids have obviously been extremely slow, but you have taken the time and care to painstakingly show everybody, look, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, and this is who is doing what. You want there to be no room for a misunderstanding, and that's fair. And I know that throughout the years, your community, being as big as it is, has obviously benefited from that. Do you feel like you have a strong enough player base for this expansion uh, going forward? And I guess by extension, did you have a good community for Nathria?
We had a really good community. The first raid that we did in this new format was Nyalotha, and that worked out really well. We almost full cleared heroic, so it went really, really well. And then for Nathria, I think it was pretty good. There was some drop off near the end when some of our healers kind of um, burnt out or took a break or stopped playing. But I think that was more due to the content drought than anything else, really. So we're
It's
excited to
been
see who comes back in the community.
oh, absolutely
We're also hopeful that because everybody's going in, we're going into this next one geared, as opposed to everybody having to gear up at their own pace for the first one. Now maybe we'll have more success, because we only got, I think, 4 into heroic for Nathria. Um, Hopefully we can get further than that.
yeah. I always look forward to hearing good news on your end, and even with the connected realms, with the 3 other servers that we're now a part of, it still felt like the rating scene died out very quick. I don't know what those 3 servers were used to before the connection, but it seemed like they all took off like a bolt. I think it was 16 out of 20 guilds on Wild Progress that were, on the leaderboard were from the other servers. And, just a sprinkling of Ravenholdt Twisting Nether. And then it seemed like frozen. Like, okay, we did some and we're done. How did you feel about Nathria? Was it fun enough to continue, or did you feel like, we need to just stop this?
I really enjoyed Nathria. I thought there was a lot of character to it. It had some good set dressing that was reminiscent of Kara, at least for me. The bosses were kind of fun. I would have been fine continuing, but unfortunately, with the community the way it is, we don't really always have a choice in the matter. If we don't have the numbers, then we can't continue. And that's just part of being in a casual setting.
Yeah, I can understand that. All right. For this next question, starting with Leda, as a kindred spirit, uh, when it comes to raiding, I've only ever seen you go Guardian. Has there never been a desire to try even Feral for raiding?
I'm a creature of habit. I've always been a bear, and I think I probably always will be a bear. I've never had the drive to try anything else. I played around with a few alts here and there. Not very good at range DPS. I somehow end up like melee range regardless when I'm playing like a warlock. It's ridiculous, but I think I'm just so used to it and I know it and I'm comfortable with it. And then everything else that I do during a raid, having to do all the callouts and moving markers and keeping an eye on everybody else's positioning, it's just so much easier to be in that role when, cause honestly, tanking's not that hard. So to be a tank and just know how many stacks you need to swap on, it makes it a lot easier to do all the other raid leader stuff.
Yeah, I've felt that the quality of tank, or rather, tank expectations has really plummeted in the years. I might be, overthinking this or whatever, but I feel like you said, it's just like, okay, I have this stack, your turn. All right, now it's my turn. Doesn't feel engaging much anymore. I mean, there's a boss here and there where you really have to be on the ball with positioning and, okay, this is happening, move or something. But otherwise, it's just like, all right, punch me in the face. All right, your turn.
Yep.
And on the flip side, we have Iyotanka here, who has always been balanced. So, same question: do you not feel the need to ever not be range?
Well, there was a time in Wrath a lot for was it for ICC where I was our off healer, and I almost never got to play balance because I was always needed as a third healer. I think I might try that again this tier because we had a problem finding healers a lot of the time. So I think I'm gonna. The issue at this point is less that I'm not really confident with it and more that I don't have the gear for it. I don't have the legendaries for it. So I think while we're working our way up through Mythics, I'll probably work on my Resto set. But I don't know. I enjoy balance. I like being a druid. I like having all the utility that we have. I'm almost never going to top the charts unless I'm using Convoke. But I can be useful to the raid, and I like that.
Absolutely. And not, first of all, not to knock either of you, because look at me. All I do is tank raids as well. And I have my alternate characters, but I feel, I don't know if the two of you would agree, but I feel that with the way they've designed the systems or the resource systems lately, like Anima for this expansion, the artifact power in Legion, and I'm sure something Azerite in Battle for Azeroth, because of those resources and there never being a stopping point, I feel like anytime I play an alt, I'm wasting time empowering my main, even if it's just an infinitesimal little gain, it's still a gain. And I feel like because of that, because there's no end, there's no switching to an alternative. So that
Yeah,
that makes it so much
I can
harder.
see that.
But I will say, and I'm sure the two of you know this and can appreciate it, that because the two of you were in the same room or within the same vicinity, whatever, that with her tanking and you as range, you have eyes everywhere, and that has to help.
It would help if Io paid attention.
I sometimes pay attention. It depends on the fight. At the very beginning of the year, I am trying to spend all of my time trying to understand because I learn by doing. So it takes a little while for me to figure out the fight. By the time that we have them on farm, I am doing shit. I'm seeing things. I am trying to help as best as I can. But it's true. I can be pretty oblivious. Especially, actually, there's the flip side of it is if we're farming it and I'm fucking bored, then I might be looking at my phone at the same time as doing my rotation.
Yeah, Moonbeam, Convoke, yeah, whatever, top meters, all right, whatever. Have, because of that advantage that the two of you have you ever had to take a 5 minute break to discuss amongst yourselves things that you saw? Because, hey, what's going on? And then you kind of have to have your own little meeting of, okay, I saw this in melee, I saw this in range. Do you ever need to do that?
Normally have push to talk on. So you won't hear us having those discussions, but we have them all the time, constantly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Conversations in between practically every attempt. I mean, they're not always that in depth. It's sometimes like this person wasn't doing it, or we need to do more of this, and it takes 30 seconds. But almost always happening. The 5 minute ones happen usually when it's member issues, interpersonal problems. Those usually require discussion, but
Okay.
strategy doesn't really take long.
Okay. I was just wondering if you had to kind of talk amongst yourselves about, okay, hey, these people are not here, they're not doing what the boss says and all that stuff. But either way, it's the two of you have been successful, and I hope it continues to be as such. And hopefully everybody comes back for whatever this next raid is called. Sanctum of Domination, is that what it's called? Okay. I haven't looked into it. I know I'm very bad, but hopefully information will come out. And as I announced to my guild, unfortunately, I'm going to be missing the first week, so I'm going to be even more behind. But hopefully one of them... there's a few streamers in the guild that I'll have to look at and see how they're doing. Maybe I'll surprise them. And I'll be like, oh, I'm watching. What was that, Josh?
You're always welcome to come with us.
Oh, no, I won't be here for the whole week. I'm going on vacation. I'm kind of forced. It sucks. It sucks. Family vacation
Forced
sucks.
vacation, oh my god.
Woe
Yeah, I
is
know.
you. Whatever will you do?
Oh, man. But, family, gotta do it. So, moving on from that, the two of you, no, for Chantel, you have as your icon a dog. Is that by any chance the dog that the two of you have? Or is that just a random dog picture?
Yeah, that's Lizzie.
Okay.
Yep, she's
Is here
our dog. She
is
turned 6 this year, I think.
is is she in the room? I know I heard the jingle of the collar earlier.
She was upstairs. We were ignoring her, so she went upstairs. I
Okay.
think I can hear her on her way.
I think I heard a whine
Yeah,
or something.
She was, if you saw me, if you noticed that I was looking down, that's because she had climbed under my desk and was demanding my attention.
I see. That must make it fun during certain polls. Like, oh, fine, here's your pet. Go away. I'm trying to kill things. I've been interrupted by the kid a few times. Ugh. We'll see how this raid goes. All right. So, as stated in the beginning, when I was introducing, the two of you hail from up north, Canada. And you had... Excuse me. Oh, what do we got? It's a doggy. You said Lizzie is the name? Hi, Lizzie. It's cute. What kind of, what breed?
She's half husky and half corgi.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you could breed those two. One of them is a little bit bigger than the other.
A little
Okay.
bit. I don't know how it happened, but we got her at the SPCA, so.
Yeah. Well, if it works, it works. All right. So the two of you are from up north Canada. So hello to our neighbors. And you had mentioned something about a Canadian holiday coming up.
Yeah, Thursday is Canada Day, which is just like Independence Day, except Canadian.
Except less guns, it's less violent. We asked nicely.
Yes, you are a far more polite society than us heathens down here. So, in the extremely likely event that I forget, I will say it now. Happy Canada Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And out of curiosity, does any of the jokes that they say on South Park bother you, or do you find it all funny?
Usually funny. It depends. I mean, some of them there's truth in most jokes, so some of them are a little less funny, but they're pretty funny. I mean, as you can see, our heads don't waggle around like like they
Yeah,
do.
no flopping.
Oh,
How was the how'd you like the Canada on
We
Strike
just
song?
like to be mentioned at all.
There you go. Uh, Going back to individual, starting with you, Iyotanka. Previously, or at least for as long as I knew you, in the early days, you were a teacher, and lately that's not the case. And did you stop teaching before you moved to where you currently are?
no, I was subbing at the time, but wasn't getting as many shifts as I would have liked. And then Chantel was offered her last job, which we moved down here for, and it was a great opportunity and paid much better than my subbing ever did. So we moved down, and I figured I could just pick it up here. That wasn't as easy as I had
Mm.
expected. I didn't have as much luck as I hoped, and honestly, it turned out all right, especially since pandemic and all that. And I'm not sure if I'd like to be in a classroom during that. Um, so yeah, it was not my choice, but life happens the way it happens.
I did work at the university
Oh
for a little bit before the pandemic.
yes, I was a TA for a bit at the university, the First Nations University of Canada. That was kind of fun, but it wasn't really teaching.
Is this something you would want to do again, or have you just moved on from that time of your life?
No, I don't think I've moved on since it wasn't really my choice to do so. If I had an offer on the table, it would take some serious consideration. I'd have some real thoughts about it. Um, I'd have lots of feelings about things, as Chantal and
Mm-hmm.
I like to say. So no, I haven't moved on from it, but just not at that point at the moment.
All right. Well, for your sake, I really hope somebody comes a knocking.
Thank you.
I mean, it's a usually an extremely thankless, and underappreciated job. So, on behalf of all the idiots out there, thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
And for you, Chantel, when I knew you, I don't know if you had this job when I met you, or met the two of you, but I know that a very long time ago you worked at EB Games. But that was a very long time ago, and you have moved on since. And everybody, I mean, I've only known a few, but everybody who I've ever talked to that worked at that franchise or the other incarnations of it, Electronic Boutique, GameStop, whatever the first one was called, where they would literally give you a penny for a game. Funkoland, that's what it was. I don't know if you had those same names in Canada that they did in America. Uh, do you have any stories about just massive idiot customers?
Um, a lot of my EV stories are typically about either sexism or like creepy guys hitting on me. So it kind of goes either way, that particular job. Oh, it was always fun to sort of like play the dumb bimbo, and then once they would ask you a question, you would just like totally floor them with your Assassin's Creed knowledge or um, explain that you are a main tank in a 25-man raid that you run, and like, yeah, so it was kind of fun to like blow people's minds, but then, they would start asking if you had a boyfriend, and then it got just like awkward, so.
Yeah, you're there to just be, a saleswoman, not anything with brains. Uh, but thankfully you survived that. Well, on behalf of all the women out there, I'm sure everybody, all females have stories like that. But yeah, that's uh, you're there to buy games. It's not a dating site like, oh, I'm gonna go to GameStop and hit on this chick and she's gonna come home with me. No,
You remember that
he
guy who brought you Chinese food? Not you specifically, but brought the store Chinese food. And didn't you have a crush on Holly or something?
Yeah, he had a crush on my coworker, and we would get like Chinese food for lunch from like a restaurant, like a Chinese restaurant, a couple times a week usually.
Mhm.
Pretty sweet.
So what you're telling me is that was the earliest incarnation of OnlyFans. It's like, give me Chinese food and you can have video games.
Yeah, somebody was simping for Holly.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's bad. Oh, well. So, in honor of what you have there in the background, is that your favorite Pokemon?
It is. Wow.
All right.
My favorite Pokemon is Jigglypuff.
Very nice. Do you have one, Josh?
Do I have a favorite Pokemon or do I have a
Yes.
Jigglypuff?
No, a favorite Pokemon.
Uh, it's almost always been Charmander.
Charmander. Just the base form or any version?
Just the base form. Yeah, I always thought he was really cute. I mean, I was in my prime years were when the show was on. So you know that one episode where Charmander
Gosh.
was in the rain,
Yeah, and he
and
just like covered himself with a leaf.
yeah, it was so sad, and I just wanted to be there for that little Charmander. Your formative years, your favorite Pokemon, it sticks.
It was rough. And I will say that I find it funny. Nearly everyone I have talked to about Pokemon, everybody has a favorite Pokemon from the first generation. It's like I never hear anybody say, "Oh yeah, this insert Pokemon from Crystal was my favorite" or something, or Diamond, or whatever the gems
You know,
were.
they ran out of ideas and they got weird. Like there's that bag of garbage. It's literally just a bag of garbage. I
Yeah, I
don't know what
saw
it's.
that. Mm, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, my favorites are also from the original. Um, my, I mean, the one I love is, I mean, any version of Eevee, the 20 million transformations that it has, but uh, my absolute favorite, which I could never find a toy for, was Pinsir, but it was just, this little insect thing, so who the hell would carry a toy of that? But I was like, I like Pinsir. It had its unique attack, Guillotine, and in the original game, I was always trying to use it because I thought it was awesome.
Mhm.
Uh, so,
You could only ever get the Safari area.
yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with the franchise. I played a few hours of Sword and Shield, and it's like it's just not doing it for me.
Yeah, I haven't played for a few years, but Chantel's got Pokemon Snap that she just got for her birthday.
Oh, we have our guild officer Medier is. I don't know if she's playing it, but I know that that was her favorite game back in the day because she likes to take pictures of stuff. So maybe the two of you can have fun conversations about that. Do you have like a photo book in that? I've never seen it. So do you have like a photo book you can like save your pictures or something?
Yeah, I think so. I've
Okay.
only had it for a week, maybe. So there is some sort of online picture sharing deal, but I haven't ventured into it yet.
Yeah, I think there was something about uploading your pictures and like other people can rate them or something like that, but you haven't tried it yet.
Okay. So, one more subject, and then we'll see if any of our wonderful viewers would like to ask questions of their own. So, if anybody wants to learn something, think of it or type it out, and then I'll read it after this last question. One other thing I wanted to mention, just for clarity, I believe it was you, Josh, that said you collected board games. So, is it mostly a hobby out of just trying to collect old games, or do you trying to go after actual games to play with a group?
It was for most of the hobby, it was things that I wanted to play. We've never had a lot of people nearby that would play with us, but we still collected the games, and when people would visit, we would play games. But what was it, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, we got a really cool board game. It's like an old ass Monopoly from like the 40s.
Hmm.
So that was really cool. That was the first antique board game that we got.
Oh,
And
very
it's got
nice.
like wood pieces instead of metal pieces because during World War II there was metal rationing, so that's cool.
Yeah, definitely keep that in as good condition as you can.
But aside from that, yeah, it's just things that we want to play. So we see things that are cool and we buy them. It's not just my hobby. Chantel's ordered a few of them off of Kickstarter. I think there's one T1, one like a quilting one, and all kinds of things that we have weird board games for.
Can't say I've heard of a quilting board game, uh, but that hopefully there's a fun rule set for it at least.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Patchwork. Oh my god. Are you actually crafting a quilt as the game?
It's kind of like a Tetris sort of deal where you have to strategically pick which pieces you want so you can fill up as much of the board as possible, and all the pieces kind of have different patterns, and then there's bonuses with buttons, and it's pretty simple, but it's really fun. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, because you're building this, is it is the game presented in a way that's easy to just take apart and start again?
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
20-minute game, 20 minutes to half an hour. You do it quickly and then you can get into it again. It's pretty simple. We've played it with Chantal's played it with her sisters and her mom, and they're not generally board game people, so
Okay. And it was Patchwork? That's what it's called? Patchwork. Okay, yeah, because the wife is loves crafting, and if you can mix a game and crafting, I definitely need to try. She doesn't play anything. Oh, that is a good question. Thank you. So, the two of you have been together for eons now. I think they wrote about you two in the Bible. I forgot the names, but they're there. Uh, how, if you want to share, how did the two of you meet?
I mean, it's not that interesting a story anymore. You hear it all the time, but we met online when we were teenagers. It's kind of embarrassing, but we met in a Yahoo chat room for Lord of the Rings. Uh, yeah, we were both in our teens, and obviously we weren't. It was long distance. We were just friends at the time. But Chantal grew up in rural Saskatchewan. I grew up in Vancouver, and eventually I went to UVic for university, and Chantal decided that she would join me. And that's when we started actually dating.
Very, very
So,
nice.
16 years ago.
Congratulations. Wow. Congratulations for making the effort, and congratulations in trying. What's the word I'm looking for? And giving it a chance. There you go. Because of course, uh, you're gonna have 100,000 men all hit on you, and for you to actually be like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. So, props to both of you, and may continue for generations to come. Uh, okay, before I ask the next question, I gotta ask, since you met on the Lord of the Rings chat room, did you did you two ever dress up?
As Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings
Yeah, yeah.
characters?
Did you two meet up in like robes or
Oh,
some shit?
No, I've never actually cosplayed. Chantel's the cosplayer. She has a really badass Assassin's Creed costume
Really?
that she wore at some fan expos a few years or a long time ago. But yeah, is her own interpretation of what was it? It was a Russian assassin would look like.
Yeah, there was a comic about a Russian assassin, and he was a guy. So I just like gender bent and did the like lady
It was
version of
really
that.
badass with weapons and fur and a long robe, and it was really good looking.
Did you base it? I don't know about the comic. I can't say that I've read an Assassin's Creed comic, but I know that there was an Assassin's Creed Chronicles where it was three games in one. They were side scrollers instead of the typical open world 3D, where it was Russia, Japan, and then I can't remember what the third, or China, and I can't remember what the third country, but it was three. It was assassins from three different countries in one game. Was it based on that or no?
I don't know if it was specifically based on, but I think the characters were related. I think the comic and that game series, I think they were related.
Okay. And
I think so,
it,
yeah.
I wish I knew this before the show, so I could have asked for pictures. Cosplay is awesome. Definitely props to you for having the guts to do that. All right. In honor of Animaker, who I need to just like maybe start the show with this question because it's gonna be asked of everybody. What is, starting with Lita, food, drink, poison?
Favorite?
Yes. He loves
Oh
asking this
gosh.
of everybody.
I don't know what my favorite food would be. That's a hard one. I like a lot of food. Let's go with ice cream. And my
Ice cream.
favorite drink, coffee.
It's important.
And poison. I'm not a huge drinker. Oh,
Okay, it's just
it's tricky.
respectful. If you don't like to drink, you don't like to drink.
I used to drink rum and cokes quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I have drank in the past. I'm just
Not
Right. I
recently.
mean, if you don't really care to anymore, that's that's cool. I usually go for that myself. I thought about getting a drink before the show, but I was running out of time and I didn't want to be too late. So, what about you, Josh?
Um, Food. I don't know. I have a tricky relationship with food, and it really depends on, are we going with a specific food or a generic type of food? Because specific food, there's this crispy chow mein noodle in from a specific restaurant in Vancouver, and it's fucking amazing. And I would eat it for every meal. Um, Otherwise, fries.
Okay.
Or maybe,
Before you list your drink, that noodle that you were talking about, do you still have access to it, or did you move too far away?
well, I don't have access, but my parents still live there. So whenever we go to visit my parents, they will take us to this specific restaurant that
Oh, there you
will
go.
hopefully never go out of business because
If you ever see a going out of business sign, you're like, "Give me all of your noodles now. I will take it home."
yeah, it wouldn't be the same. They make it. It's just amazing. Yeah.
Nice. Favorite drink?
Drink. Honestly, I'm not a Coke. Maybe I don't know. I don't. Most of what I drink in a day is water.
Nope.
It's really pretty
Water it is
boring.
then.
I guess so.
There's nothing
And
wrong with being healthy. Look at me.
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with a different interpretation of poison and say anything salty snack related. Chips. It'll kill me. It'll just kill me slowly. I don't drink. I
I
don't
mean,
smoke. I don't do drugs. It's pretty boring, actually.
yeah.
Sorry.
Ain't nothing wrong. Hey, if you get to live 50 more years for that lady over there, then who's to stop you?
It's a good
And,
answer.
your dog and the next dog and however many other dogs you get after that.
there's no next dog. She's
Oh,
living forever.
oh, she's immortal.
Decided.
Oh, there you
But
go.
if she
Okay,
does,
there you go. Uh, oh, okay. In extension to the board games that you collect, have the two of you gotten into card games as well?
like collectible card games, like
Collectibles?
CCGs.
Yeah. Uh,
I
do you?
so many CCGs when I was a teenager. I have them all stashed somewhere in my parents' house. I never played Magic, but I played Star Wars. I played Pokemon. I played. There was this really pirate one that nobody ever played with me, but the art was really cool, so I collected it anyway. All kinds of things. Chantel always thought it was ridiculous.
I'm not remembering the pirate one. I mean, there's been many, many. I mean, I can list a whole bunch that I've played over the years. I mean, on and off because they eventually get expensive. You know, you're spending $100 on a box of cards, and you're lucky to even get half of them collected. It has been, it has been amazing. I am very grateful for the time and willingness for both of you, and I really hope going forward that you and your community just continues to succeed. And one day I hope to see you up there. You know, it's like, oh yeah, now we're teaching people how to raid Mythic now because we're just that good. So I really look forward to that. So everybody, these are the leaders of the Boisterous Few, also a raiding guild on Ravenholdt. They have been with us for 12 years, and they're coming up on their 13th anniversary in October, and I look forward to all the fun that they plan. Hopefully nothing too elaborate where it takes like 5 weeks to do a treasure hunt with your NPCs this time.
Oh, yeah, well, we need more people to actually show up before we can plan another anniversary event, but yeah.
Well, hopefully your community joins you. I am your host, the Bronx Paladin, and thank you both so very much, and until next time.
Thanks for having us.